I'd like to share a story I mentioned early on that I think offers a little bit of perspective to what I'm learning in parenting with my young adult children. And this in particular has to do with an exchange I had. Well, initially it started with Craig, me, and Leo, our 21-year-old, almost 22-year-old. And sweet Leo, as I've always called him, I think he came into the world dancing. He has this incredible capacity to move and groove naturally, and there's a freedom in him that I just delight and marvel at. There's also an intensity and a thoughtfulness and an intentionality. He's really growing his spiritual side. It's like he's growing in understanding his belonging, his worth, his worthiness, his value in a way that's just so gorgeous to see and to feel held and loved by God. And he's one who is, I think, naturally a leader. He's less, I think, more. So for me, I'm more of an introvert, or I say an extroverted introvert or introverted extrovert. I don't really know. Sometimes it's one or the other. But I really love one to one. And Leo is a little bit more, he's more in, he likes the group. And I like to talk, shockingly. I like to have exchange. I like to just touch base and share, put words to things, and ask questions and get deeper, go deeper. And Leo is more like it's got to be the right time for him. And he sometimes is willing to go there, sometimes he's not. But I've been noticing that more and more he's a little quieter, a little closer to the vest. And I when that happens in past, I would come after him. Like I would start, as he would say, bombarding him with questions. But here's the story. So Craig, Leo, and I at dinner one night we're talking about how, as we continue to grow our relationship and just grow in our understanding of where he is and to support him however we're able as he's going through life, that, we were asking questions and I was sharing with him. I said, Leo, sometimes it's really hard to know where you are. What is it that's going on inside of you? And I also am struck by when I'm with you, I feel like I'm the one asking the questions. I don't feel like you're really as engaged from that place. And if I'm not asking the questions, then I'm not going to know. And I gave him an example of being in the car with him for like 15 minutes and I was driving him somewhere. And when he got out of the car, he's like, "Hey, I love you, Mom." But for that 15 minutes, he said nothing. And I didn't say anything either because it was a commitment to myself when I got in the car. I was like, we'll just see where this goes. And it was amazing. We said nothing. And I, in my brain, was like going a mile a minute, thinking about, gosh, here's a missed opportunity. We could be talking about so many things. I could be asking him so many questions. I'd love to know. And I missed the gold, right? I missed the opportunity to just be right there with him, kind of like what he was doing. So in this exchange, he took in what we were saying. And then a few days later, he sent an audio message to me. You all know how much I love audio messages. And he was out of town. He was in Chicago for the week. And he started this audio with some logistics, what was going on. And then he proceeded to kind of move into a messaging around like, "Hey, you know what, Mom, I love you so much. And you've been an amazing parent, yada, yada, yada." And then he said, "Connection looks different for me." And I'm reading this because I don't want to get this wrong. He said, "Sometimes when I tell you something, I feel bombarded by questions. And sometimes I don't need that. Sometimes I just want you to listen." And that was kind of the gist of his audio message, but it was kind of like, "I'm good and you can step back." I found myself, I did listen to it a few times, admittedly, and I was just aware of like, wow, that was big. At least it felt big to me. It kind of woke me up. And the gift of it was truth. He was speaking truth. He was speaking his truth. And he was letting me know the language of love that I speak isn't necessarily the language he speaks, and that there may be another language that we can learn together that will offer a connection that feels more true for both of us. And so there was this incredible gratitude because he trusted me with the truth. And isn't that what we all want? To be trusted with the truth in a way to say, someone can say to us something that might otherwise be really hard to hear and might go right to the heart. But they're able to say it to us because they know we can take it in. We might need a little bit of time or grace and all of that, but we want that because the basis of our relationship, you want it to be honest. You want it to be true. You don't want it to be just trying to stave off each other or tell the other person what you think they want to hear so you can just get away. In my book, it's like, I want to be in relationship that is honest and true, and it stretches us. And I think it asks us to love differently. So I want to share this because the story with Leo, and we've had some lovely exchanges since, but really it's been so different and in a really lovely way. Like it was like I was able to exhale and I was able to kind of take off from my shoulders what I thought I should be doing and needed to be doing for him to be okay and to be a good quote mom. And it was more just like, okay, I'm listening. I got it. Heard, right? So a few days later, after the conversation after Craig and I had the conversation with Leo, before I got the audio from Leo, I had a conversation with Susie, who's like a therapist coach. She's someone I talk to every few months. I reach out whenever I feel like I could use some clarifying questions and just some presence with someone else and to be seen and to be held, but also to be stretched and challenged and met, right? So we do Zoom and I reach out to her. I told her about the exchange we had had with Leo, but I was talking kind of big picture, like the whole postmenopausal process, experience, relationship. I was talking about friendship and how that continues to also evolve and change, and where I'm waking up there with certain friendships and relationships that are needing to continue to evolve and change. Some might continue in a more very present way, and others might slowly be shed, but in a way that's very honoring of what is and not kind of resisting that, holding on. And so we were kind of talking about those different topics. And then I was sharing with her about my work and how much I adore my work and my clients and my people and how my coaching continues to evolve as I evolve. And then I'm really feeling this passion around speaking from a mom's perspective or just from a woman's perspective who's in her 50s, who's waking up and to say, hey, all you out there, I'm with you. Let's walk this together. Especially with my girlfriends. It's a wild ride. And to normalize it and this struggle and this launching of our kids and this root system that my dear friend Sarah was talking about. Sarah and I had this really beautiful conversation about this very thing with young adults and parenting, but more than anything, just this awakening and becoming and thinking about marriage and all the things that I just said, hey, I loved our talk today. I am so grateful we're walking through this unfamiliar, holy, humbling season at the same time. And that's loving our kids wildly, occasionally wanting to launch them into the ethers and learning how to get back into our own lanes. And she had shared with me something that she also works with a coach. And her coach, Anne, said, she was talking about freedom in trusting our kids. This was so beautiful. This is where I was going with the quote. It's the freedom in trusting that they are brilliant, capable humans, and that we don't have to keep being their root systems. Trusting that our kids are brilliant, capable humans, and that we don't need to be their root systems anymore. They have firm roots, they have planted roots. We get to stay rooted in ourselves and let them discover their own strength. So they already have the root system. We have to kind of get back to our own and recognize the strength that they have and that they are growing and that they are, stepping into. And even when things are messy and they're struggling or we're struggling, whatever it may be, it's messy and it's all good. And that's something we always used to say when we lived in Guatemala. They were there at the same time as we, and our families did everything together. And we talked about this, like, it's all good in the mess of it. It's all good. It's forever all good. Then Sarah sent me, what did she say? Forever, it's all good. Yeah. So hashtag forever, it's all good. And I think that is the message in this, right? It's to keep remembering where's our lane and get back in our lane and take the straight line. Don't get caught up in all the noise and all the drama and all the things out there. But where's our responsibility? And with ourselves, what does that look like? How do we honor that? How do we take care of that? How do we inhabit our bodies and not try to control the outside world to help us feel better, but to really know what it is to drop in here? I mean, how incredible is that? And so in my conversation with Susie, we were talking about how I've also been feeling this drive and this need to process with my kids, their growing up years and where we were many moons ago, and just some of the things that were missed and that they might not have gotten that they needed, and to normalize that, to put words to that, to help them recognize that, yes, I see you, I hear you, I believe you, I'm sorry that I missed those things, and I'm here for all of it, right? But I can't change what I didn't know. And Susie's comment to me was, hey, and this is what I was doing with Leo. It's like, I keep feeling like I'm missing the opportunity to help him put words to things, to help him heal, to help him shed what is no longer his, to help him in his process. But really, I'm trying to ask my child, my kids, to tell me what maybe I did wrong or what they didn't get, but in a way that's forcing it, right? It's like it's on my terms, it's coming from my vantage point, and it's not honoring their process in the same way. I want to know what I missed. I want to be able to apologize. I want to be able to take full ownership of that. I want them to know it wasn't personal. I want them to shed whatever they're carrying because of that. That is not theirs to carry. But I can't force that. And it's in their own time. And that timing is sacred. And her point was, you can't force flowers to bloom. And your kids are flowers. So stop forcing them to bloom. They'll bloom in their own time. Healing unfolds in its own time. Our children become who they're becoming in their own time. And our job isn't to force the bloom. Our job is simply to tend the garden. How beautiful is that, right? And as Susie said this to me, of course, I was crying because it all felt so true. And it was like I needed that invitation. I needed that awareness. I needed that honesty. But I also felt like it was an invitation. It was like, it's okay to let go. It's okay. You don't have to keep carrying this. You don't have to be working so hard at this and making this right. Let it be. Let it be. And let it be good enough as it is right now. And trust the unfolding. Trust them and get back in your lane. So I realized in that conversation that I had been carrying so much responsibility and believing that somehow my kids' healing, it was dependent on me in whatever way. And it's not true. It's not. Sure, if they want to bring up a conversation, if they want to talk about something, if they're working through something and they come to an awareness and they have questions and they want to exchange, I'm all for it. I'm all in. Sign me up. But their lives belong to them now. just as mine belongs to me. And that was such a powerful insight and knowing and invitation. Their lives belong to them now, and my life belongs to me. So maybe that's what this season's been teaching me in every corner of my life, in my marriage, with my children, my body, my work. Craig has, God bless him, probably watched me become and change and evolve so many times over the last 27 years and become different than I was when we first got married. What I was as a young mother, what I was when I was a therapist, what I was as the exhausted mom and wife and woman, what I was when I became more ambitious for myself with my work, what I was when I was grieving the death of my sweet mom, my dad, who I was as a coach and starting my business and what that looked like. And you can fast forward to the woman sitting here today, who I am today. And somehow that man has loved every version of me. Now, he might not have always liked it, but he has loved it. And I think that's how we can do it with our kids too. And I think it's how we do it with ourselves. It's not about being perfect, but it's because we keep evolving, we keep growing and becoming and getting back to maybe that's the remembering of who we are. And my body has been teaching that same thing to me. Postmenopause has helped me and asked me to loosen my grip on my former identities that no longer fit. And that's figurative as well as literal. So the clothes that once fit, the roles that once fit, even the ways I relate to myself and how I talk to myself, like my morning routines, all so different now. And they all are very commensurate with where I am today, different than where I was. So trying to fit into something that was an old version of me doesn't fit, doesn't work, right? There's so much frustration to that and a sense of like smallness to it. It's like, no, expand, grow, make room, and make room for the woman I couldn't have met any other way. So last week, I turned 56, double nickels plus a penny. And if there is anything that this birthday has given me, it's a deeper reverence for this very holy walk that we get to take, for this one wild and precious life, this miraculous chance that we get to start again tomorrow, to another day we've never seen before. I mean, how cool is that? Every day, it's a new day. Never seen it before. And then within all that, to love more freely, to love big, to love deeply, to love differently, to tell a little more truth when and if, to loosen our grip, to trust, to unravel, to come to our knees, to get back up, to brush ourselves off, to become. And I don't want to rush through this life anymore or take it for granted. I don't want to miss it because I'm trying to make it perfect or just get through it. I want to notice it. I want to be right here for it. I want to receive it. And honestly, I want to be changed by it. So maybe that's what birthdays are for. The invitation. It's not the number, but it's asking ourselves, am I awake? Am I awake to the miracle of this life, of this moment? Am I awake to the people in my life sitting in front of me? Am I awake to the ways life is inviting me to love differently? Am I awake? Because I have a feeling that's what we're really here to learn. Not how to hold on tighter. It's not that. But it is how to hold one another more gently, more consciously, with more curiosity, more freedom, more grace. and with the quiet confidence that the people we love, they do not belong to us. They belong to themselves. And what an incredible privilege it is to walk beside them for a little while. What a privilege it is to still be here, still learning, still being taught, still becoming, still messing up, still not knowing, still being in wonder for today. This day I've never seen before. And that feels like enough. So thank you, dear people, for walking this holy road with me. And I'll see you next time.